I think we are live.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the. One second, I believe we are setting up live again. Or we are live. Let me check. Are you seeing that live button?
Yes, ma'am. In the Zoom meeting, I am seeing live on Facebook.
Okay, perfect then. Okay. Welcome to the excerpts from expert series, and today we are with one of the experts who is going to talk about Internet of Things. As you know, that Internet of Things is quite a buzzword today, and Internet is the field is very promising, where the career opportunities are there for several reasons. People would like to go with it, and because one, the students get a distinct roles and pursue their career in the IoT domain. Also, internet is the helm of things that is contributing and shaping the 21st century. Like anything, of course, it promises entire thing. And today, to speak about it, we have one of the youngest gentlemen, Mr. Venkatraman Ravi, who has done his electronics and instrumentation engineering from Shastra, the deemed University of Tamil Nadu. And he will be starting his professional journey very shortly. However, he is an IoT developer and enthusiastic who has been learning and actively working in the field of from last 2 years, wherein the smart farming is something taking place. He is a farming technology research coordinator with Planetarian Singularity specialist with RIA community, and he is an active IEEE volunteer. He believes IoT is going to be a leader of technology and advancement in the present and the future. And he is a budding entrepreneur because he would like to start up something in the IoT. So who else than him better could be a person who can give you insight about what Internet of Things is. And with this, I welcome Venkatraman Ravi to our show. That is an expert chat. As you know, we go live on every Saturday for this. So we are back with a new episode. Welcome, Ravi, Venkatraman Ravi, and please share your presentation and please share your insights. And we have a couple of questions which we have received from the audience, which we will be posing you time to time. So welcome, Venkatraman.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. Thank you, National Career Council Network, for providing me this opportunity. Before getting into the presentation, I would like to share a small video which I saw on YouTube. It really fascinated me how IoT is revolutionizing school education. I will share the video initially and we'll go to the presentation later.
Beautiful,
Okay.
Venkatraman. Yes. So, what was this? I can see that there is something which is Wi-Fi which is running and someone can track it. And so, how can we decode this video?
The video it monitors the student's life cycle from the time where he takes the bus and he reaches the bus travel will be monitored by his parent using GPS, and after he reaches the school, the attendance will also be taken as he crosses a checkpoint. The attendance will be marked in present, and he in the classroom, his classroom activities are also monitored, and the classroom atmosphere you could see some air conditioner. It will be monitoring the people present in the room, and it will give proper temperature. And moving on, he's going to his staff room where he knows which staff he needs to contact through IoT, which subject is handled by which staff. And then he goes to a cafeteria where the students' daily menu is being monitored so that he is served at the right time when he enters the cafeteria. Then he is going to the medical checkup, the physical checkup, where everything is IoT, his height, weight, everything. His database is already present in the computer, so that as soon as he goes there, he's doing the proper height, weight checkup, and heartbeat. The heartbeat is also the doctor is not near contacting him personally. He's having some sensors through which his heartbeat is also sent to the database, and the doctor is giving proper insights. And when he returns back to the home, the lights, it is dark. The when he returns back into the home, the lights are automatically getting switched on, and his study room is properly lighted. And when he is going to sleep, based on the sensor activity, he's all the lights are turned off, and the environment is created for him to sleep.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So that means it's also fearful moment, Venkatraman, because everything is getting tracked. So whatever we are doing, there is something which is tracked, and yes, it's good, but equally it's dangerous. Don't you think?
um, it is not that much dangerous because nowadays they are working on cyber security field, that is a separate field to protect the data, and they will be developing proper protocol so that the data is secured in a safe place.
Okay, fine. Do we have anything that we would like our students to see in terms of any presentation or something
Yeah,
that you have?
I have a presentation, I will share it.
Perfect. So in the meanwhile, Venkatraman is putting the presentation. We have seen that how internet is going to help us, but there are multiple questions that we received from people because the moment when I shared it on the social media with the schools, with the parents, that there is something that we are coming up on Internet of Things, and so the basic questions that has come out is what is the difference between IIoT and what is the IoT? What do you say when do you say that Internet of Things is? What do you mean by things? Then listing out the impacts on some of the sectors like health sector, agriculture sector, and the transportation. So I'm sure let's listen to Venkatraman right now and see to it that what exactly has he got to express. And still, in case if the questions are not answered through his presentation, then of course we have Venkatraman with us who will be answering us the question. So over to you, Venkatraman.
Okay, moving on. My Internet of Things passion started in my first year. I attended a robotics workshop where I connected the robot to the internet and controlled it with my mobile. And soon I attended many workshops in IoT. Basically, in my university provided that infrastructure. And slowly I moved into a couple of startups, which made me more efficient in IoT. I will also be discussing about what are the startup ideas which I worked on. IoT career, basically, what exactly is IoT is, we'll be discussing these few points. What exactly IoT is, how to prepare for IoT related jobs, types of IoT jobs, what are the salary and pay scales available. That is a very important factor. and what are the companies working on IoT. Here in the right hand side, I would have listed some of the top IoT companies. You will know about this Google and Microsoft. Everyone uses a laptop where it runs in Microsoft Windows, and everyone uses mobile phone or internet to browse things, etc. There Google comes, but they are working in back about more about IoT. For example, Google, they have smart home kits. You can speak to them. Your Google Voice Assistant, it is an IoT based voice assistant only. We'll move on. What is IoT is? What is meant by Internet of Things? Internet of Things is basically connecting digital data to the physical world through this network. Items like fitness trackers, alarm systems use embedded sensors. That is, all the equipments will have sensors embedded in it, exchange information with each other. Your Fitbit watch can track about your health, and your doorbell will have some video camera where some guest will be standing outside your home, and you can view it using your mobile. And smart locks are also coming now, but you can control them with your mobile phone in an app. What is IoT? Embedded things when combined with computational intelligence, that is, we give somewhat thinking power to the physical objects present, and when we connect it to the internet, we get actionable insights. That is, we get data from them, and with that data, we can take effective response to that. For example, in your room cooling system, that is heating system, etc., based on the temperature present in your room, you can vary your air conditioner temperature and cooling capacity. What are some of the fascinating ideas in IoT is safety and security, better living standards. You don't need to employ much of the security personnel in front of your house. This IoT will take care of this. And lifestyle convenience, like you don't need to turn on the water heater when go and turn on the switch while getting out from your bed. You can turn on your water heater. That is a lifestyle convenience. Information generation, measurements and tracking. The Fitbit watch, I gave an example earlier. It is tracking your information. And during this corona period, we are employing some app called Arogya Sedu in our mobile phones, which is uh, always will be switched on the Bluetooth, so that if you move towards a person who has the same app, who has already contracted with this virus, you can have the actionable insight in your mobile that you have got near a patient, so take care of your health, like that. And government initiative is playing a major role in the development of IoT. Smart cities project, where the cities are ranked based on the development, and they get more funds and they develop a smart city. And limited resources, power is getting used much and we are wasting more power. So if we monitor the power usage then and there, we can turn off the electrical appliances when not required. And aging population, they require better care. These are few IoT applications: smart cities, smart grid, smart water, smart farming, industrial control, e-healthcare, etc., etc. There are lots of applications to explore. We will slowly explore some of the applications of IoT. Smart cities. Smart cities, you have smart parking, where before going to any shopping mall or anything, you can book your parking slot and you don't need to have parking hassle, etc. And noise detection, like you can monitor the horn sound of the vehicles. Smart lighting, if vehicle are present in the road, the light will be giving much brightness. If the vehicles are not present, the light is not required. So smart lighting comes there. And waste management, the sensor sense what type of waste you are adding in the dustbin, and it segregates properly. Smart roads is when electric cars or something comes, this smart roads will be evident. When the car is passing through the road, the charging will be turned on so that your car charges. And structural health, the buildings will be embedded with sensors so that if it is going to face some issues like break or something, the health will be monitored with the sensors. And smart grid starts from our home. Monitoring, we will employ smart meters in our home where we can see how much energy we are consuming, and we can try to control our consumption. And micro power generation, in our home or in our industries, we can employ some solar panels. There we can monitor the power generated using this IoT technology. Asset monitoring also plays a major role. And demand and response, based on the demand of electricity in our homes or industries, we can supply the power so that we don't face high voltage or low voltage issues. And power generation is also monitored using these sensors. The industries also require these sensors so that they perform well. Then smart environment, forest fire detection, snow level monitoring, air pollution monitoring, EMF level detection. EMF is produced by radio devices. For example, your mobile also produces EMF. If EMF level is high, you will be alerted so that you can take care. EMF, if it goes high, your organs are very vulnerable to EMF. And earthquake early detection, we don't have much earthquake early detection systems. We measure the earthquake in Richter scales after the earthquake had happened. But if we predict the earthquake earlier, we can save more lives. And landslide and avalanche detection by employing some sensors in the hill stops, etc. And forest fire detection, live example is going now. In California, forest fire has happened currently. If there are some smart sensors present there, we could have found out it in the initial spark of time, and major damage would have been avoided. Safety and security emergencies, access control. If you want to get into your home, you don't need a key. You can just open your home with your mobile phone app itself. And leakage detection, water is very precious resource now, but water leaks in taps or etc. When we are not in our home, we can just monitor how much water consumption is going on. If something is happening, we can find out. We have turned off the tap in a way that water is dripping from the tap. And radiation levels in atomic power plants, we have nuclear energy so that we can monitor the radiation level, and if it exists, we can control it. See, wherever sensors are deployed, we can connect it to the internet and it becomes Internet of Things. And explosive and hazardous gas. In your kitchens, we are using LPG cylinders. So if LPG is started to leak, we can sense it using gas sensors so that we take preventive actions. And smart water, we have water purifiers installed in our homes. We can monitor the quality of drinking water, and if the quality of drinking water is not okay, we can check the smart water and we can do it properly. And swimming pool maintenance, we can measure the chlorine content present in the swimming pool, and we can measure the pollution and other things present in the swimming pool so that we trigger the swimming pool maintenance. Water metering, we are receiving water from corporation, so we can measure the water metering, and no one needs to come to your home and check this much water has been consumed by you. They can sit in their office and they can see how much water you are consuming. And river monitoring is very much useful in the time of floods. If flood is coming, if you had deployed sensors earlier, you will be able to sense the flood or something coming. And sea level monitoring, ships are deployed with sensors, and also sensors are placed in the seas and oceans, and you can measure whether the tsunami is going to come or not. using the sea level monitoring. Also, sea level monitoring, another thing is if some oil spill is happening or if some chemicals are getting added, there also comes the sensors and you can take actions towards it. Then smart retail, supply chain control, like the lorries which are bringing your goods will be tracked using this sensors. And NFC payments, it has not come to India, but it is employed in China, so that you don't need to use your swipe your card or etc. Just if you have a smart band, you can go near the billing station and you can see you can do the payment. And intelligent shopping, like if you go to a store and the store will be speaking to you like, I have this product, you can come and get this. And smart product managed in warehouses, the smart products will be managed properly. The next thing is
Uh,
smart.
1 minute, Venkatraman. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. I have just received a question that now that you have just come to the smart logistics, even in the smart cities, when you are saying that there would be a thing that which be helpful, like you can see the detect earthquakes, you can see avalanche, and you can ensure that snow thing, and of course the water leakage. You can regulate your air conditioner with the thing. You can open the house with your smartphone. So does it mean that Internet of Things will have a greater effect on the human life in a positive way? Because what I can see is more or like we are getting slaved by all these things. We are controlled by an internet activity which is monitoring everything, which is a high risk. Looking at the cyber risk and everything, though you already mentioned that's a different subject, and we already covered the cyber security few weeks back by Mr. Sushant, who is a cyber legal thing. But looking at the smartness of the things, I believe somewhere we are becoming lazy, as well as we are procrastinating the things, as we know. Okay, when the reminder button will come, then we'll have to do something. So, what are your views on that?
I won't say that it is con. It is just it is always a advantage for us only. By doing this, we are getting a comfortable lifestyle. We are conserving more resources, and we are living a safe life, I would say. So it is not much disadvantage, but the data privacy part is addressed by the companies. They are still working, researching on them, and it will be resolved soon.
Okay, so let's move ahead with the smart logistics. I have a couple of questions which I'll be sharing it with you, but this is something which has come, so I popped up and I shared it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move on.
Smart logistics, here the quality of smart logistics if comes, we are purchasing from Amazon, Flipkart, etc. There everything is monitored using this IO technology. The warehouse is monitored, the item location, like you are monitoring using your mobile app where my order is coming, which place has my order reached. You can monitor that. And in future it will be coming that your uh, product will have a GPS or something, so such that you monitor them properly. And the fleet tracking is essential. For example, if your fleet is stuck in some place, you can go and take care of that. That is very much important nowadays. Moving on, industrial control and automation. Here comes a bit different topic, in advanced topic called industrial internet of things, where it is more need to be protected, and the data is always preserved in the industry itself. The data is not sent outside, so that no one attacks you. Smart assembly, where everything is employed with sensors, and if your plant is having some maintenance issues, it will be giving you before the error occurs, the failure occurs, so that your device is safe. And item tracking, in an industry you don't you won't know which is located in which place, where you will have a designated data so that you go and track your items. The factory is visible just to the engineers who are sitting in the control room. And smart farming, it is really fascinating because I worked in the smart farming elaborately. Precision farming, like how much fertilizer or how much pesticide you need to give it in the field so that your farm grows well. And greenhouses are having lots of sensors, temperature sensor, humidity sensor. So uh, and if your farm is getting a bit hot and if your crops are suffering from that, you can trigger some showers or something with the data available. And smart irrigation, water is very scarce nowadays and farmers are bit suffering from this. So we will deploy some moisture sensors in the soil so that if the soil requires water, we will be turning on the irrigation system just sitting from their home. Earlier, the farmers used to travel to the farms personally, and you need to turn on the motor or something. After connecting to the internet, they can start the irrigation cycle in the morning time from their home itself before reaching the farm, such that the land is irrigated well and it is ready for farming. Micro weather forecasting, in local, we will be sensing the temperature, humidity, etc. And if the humidity is more, we can predict that it is going to rain, so that we should stop the irrigation cycle. And smart animal farming, nowadays cows and other cattle are embedded with small sensors where they monitor the health, and they are giving proper treatment for them if they are facing some issues. And smart homes, everything usage of utilities, smart lighting, appliance control, intrusion detection, and pet monitoring. I have also worked in smart lighting, like you will have some voice assistant devices in your home, and you can say to your voice assistant, turn on the lights or something. Here, I would say the data is not that much risky because you will be having your own internet in your home, server in your home, so that it won't be exposed to the outside world. You can't control the light from outside. And appliance control also is like that. Pet monitoring, if you are traveling outside, you can monitor how your pet is behaving, and you can feed it from your office also. And e-healthcare. This is bit growing fast in this COVID time, I would say. Like they are deploying some robots and the temperature sensor devices held by the security personnel who are standing in front of the shops. It is also an IoT device. It senses the temperature and it shows a reading. It is a handheld IoT device. Fall detection. You can deploy some sensors in your uh, elder people's elder people, so that if they fall, you will be intimated properly. And patient monitoring, there will be lots of sensors in the deployed all over the patient, so that each and every parameter is monitored properly, and the doctor can sit in his cabin and monitor him without going and disturbing the patient. Sportsman care, like a coach can monitor the sportsman's behavior, and it starts from the sportsman's tennis bat. If he's a tennis player, there will be an array of sensors deployed on the tennis bat, such that the strokes, place, everything will be monitored for the sportsman. And women and child care is also very essential. And UV radiation detection is also possible. Like UV radiation is now used to sanitize the hospitals in some cases, and UV radiation in the hospitals will also be monitored using this IoT technology. And the future of customer service will be like this. Initially, the person, you need to take your appliance to the shop and they will service it. And now when you, and after that, if you call the toll free number, They will help, they will send the person and you'll be serviced properly. And after that, internet, web chat, and real time, uh, your you can itself service your appliance through the video chat. The service personnel will be guiding you through some video calls, and in future you don't need no experience. The device itself will be correcting itself using this IoT technology, or the person will be servicing your product remotely from his service center itself. IoT is a pervasive computing. Initially, we had one single computer for multiple people, that is server-based computing, and there came the personal computing. We had each one laptop per person, and now pervasive computing, in the sense there have become many devices per single person. Now we have a laptop, we have mobile phone, we have smartwatch, etc., etc., for a single person itself. So the device count is increasing compared to the human population, and improving life standards. Earlier, I had the question like how IoT is it a disadvantage or like that? But it is improving more life standard. It is the future of next generations, optimal living, and new business opportunities are budding up. Like startups are starting to grow, and it is empowering people. Economy is developing through this IoT, and also job is created, not destroyed here. If you are not skilled, your job will be going. But if you are skilled in this technology, it is a job creator only. And power consumption, how long a button cell would last? Like in a IoT device, there will be small button cells, and I have took an example of a temperature sensor which monitors for around approximately 12 years. You can use the same battery, you don't need to change the battery, so it doesn't consume much power. You can see from this example itself. And salary of an IoT engineer in India, average salary is around 9,65,000. And software engineer is the starting position in an IoT industry. His salary starts from 3,72,000. And a software developer, his salary is a bit higher. Slowly he grows high, and a software architect is the person who is taking charge of all the IoT applications, etc. And if you compare it with the salaries provided in United States, it is half. Like in USA, you can double or triple the same salary amount present here. Skills to be possessed by a IoT developer. IoT developer just doesn't focus on a particular technology. He needs to be a multitasking person. He needs to know a bit programming. He needs to know about how to connect the electronic circuits with the sensors. And Raspberry Pi, it is a basic microprocessor. He needs to know a bit of data analytics, how to analyze the data, and you need to know about some network information and security. You need to develop some UI or UX application. If your user sees in laptop or something, he needs to visualize it. And mobile app development is also a bit essential, or he needs to know what are the features to be told to the mobile app developer. And networking, you need to connect multiple IoT devices and send it through a single gateway. And you need to know some of machine learning such that you don't the user doesn't need to worry about much of controlling the IoT devices. It will take its own decisions. And IoT, as I discussed earlier, there are different job profiles. IoT developer, he focus on creating applications, and he needs to know basic programming languages, and he needs to make it so strong. As a IoT developer, you will oversee the creation of software used to support specific IoT applications, and you don't need to worry about the data initially as an IoT developer. And IoT developer roles are growing 21% in the 10 years till 2020. and there is a strong outlook for IoT developers. And aspiring IoT developers should have a master's degree and extensive coding skills to be entering into the IoT field. IoT architect, as I said earlier, he is the master of every IoT application. He will be responsible for developing strategies, which IoT platform should be used, which sensors we need to use, which are the actuators, motors we need to use to control them. He's having the most higher responsibilities, so he's paid well. IoT embedded system design engineer. He works on the microprocessor level. He works how to connect the sensors and microprocessor and how to make the software run, etc. And also his responsibility is to develop some device specific firmware. Device specific firmware is everyone know operating system to function a mobile phone or laptop. Similarly, for working of an IoT device, we have device specific firmwares which are written in Python, C++, and other programming languages. This embedded system designers also work closely with the hardware devices, and they also require some master's degree. And IoT solution engineers, they are the one who decide what type of solution to be customized and given to the user or customer. They identify their needs, take a hands-on approach, what type of sensors are need to be used, what type of wireless technology we can employ. And engineers with IoT as a specialty, they secure high salaries, and they need to have masters in cyber physical systems. Like they need to know something about cyber security, how the data is handled, etc. Why IoT jobs are becoming popular is late in 90s, when you know Excel, you will be celebrated well. And when spreadsheets came, Excel works became obsolete. And then come top earning software profession that you need to code everything. But people are losing jobs in that also because they are failing to upskill themselves. People who upskill themselves got bigger promotion. If you are a normal software engineer, your innovative ideas won't be respected much. But when you master in printing technologies like IoT, 3D printing, etc., your whisper also will be heard much. There comes IoT developers' voice. They will be hearing to your knowledge very well. IoT, it is a domain leader after data analytics. It is a trend-setting industry after data analytics, where working becomes more interesting. Amazing innovations are happening in agriculture, energy consumption, home automation, driverless cars, etc. Companies are looking for skilled IoT developers to be part of their technical team for addressing several issues in terms of operations and performance in this current scenario. Finally, I would say a single decision you make today can rewrite your future. Like small lines of rectification of code results in success of major products. I welcome you all to the growing IoT industry.
Wonderful, Venkatraman. You can now, remove your screen. Yeah, perfect. So, one thing we just, heard from you is smart cities, smart farming, smart logistics, smart power, smart healthcare. Everything is smart, smart, smart. Well, I still, have my apprehension as an HR person that, when we are working together with so many smart technologies and other things, there is a reduction of manpower which happens. And as you rightly said, people are not jobless because the things are coming. The people are jobless because they are unable to upskill themselves. So that is one of the key point and the take away from your things. But I have certain questions which have been pouring to me from left, right, and center for the IoT thing. First of all, you already mentioned what is IoT job skills. However, as a student who is in class 12th or class 11th, and they are pursuing their schooling with PCM. So do you think what is the prerequisite criteria to become enter into the line of IoT? Does a person need to be a science student, or any platform student can actually get into the IoT thing?
The person needs to be a science student. He needs to know some of physics and some of computer science to work in the IoT technology. Like IoT is blended with programming, so you need to be a programmer, and it is using some electronic devices and sensors. There comes the part of physics. So computer science and physics are the major subjects.
So computer science and physics. What if the person doesn't have mathematics?
Mathematics, I forgot that. Mathematics, analytical part is also a major thing in IoTs. You will have lots of data. You need to analyze that.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, one person needs to have PCM with computer science as their subject to enter into the field of IoT, right?
Yeah, but I was a biology student in my school days. I didn't study computer science in my school days. After I entered the college, I started my programming career.
Okay, so when you were a biology student, were you having mathematics or not?
Yeah, I was having mathematics.
So mathematics is important because in any of the stream selection, either we have physics, chemistry, and maths, or either we have physics, chemistry, and biology, or students can opt to take physics, chemistry, maths, and biology. And the fifth subject becomes optional. Of course, either obviously English would be there, which is a mandatory part of the thing. Well, with the new education policy, I'm sure there would be some changes, but the implementation will take time. Now, you also mentioned about the some of the career options with Internet of Things. So I am skipping this question, which I've received it, as people can actually watch the video once more and can understand what are the various options with IoT. Now, one more thing, when you were talking about programming, uh, does it require a lot of coding? Because yes, nowadays everyone is booming a lot that coding is something which is important. Even in the new education policy, the education minister has very clearly said that coding will be starting from class 6, but again it has to get implementation. But the basic question is, anyone who doesn't know coding, can he get into the IoT?
uh, he can't get into the IoT because interfacing of all the sensors and electronic appliances, he can maybe do it. After that, he needs to code it. So
Okay,
programming
so
is very
coding
much in
coding in which
IoT.
language then?
Yeah, IoT, the coding languages are C, C++, and Python. These are the things which I have gone through. Java, many people try, but it is a bit hard and tedious task.
Thank you so much. So, students, you need to C, C++, and Python. These are the coding languages which you need to learn. And I'm sure in most of the schools where you are taking computer science, C++ is taught. And for the students who have taken IP, you are taught with the Python subject. But I believe from this year, the curriculum is changing. IP and CS will be combined, and Python would also be a part of the computer science people. Well, with this, we enter into the second question, that how will the IoT impact the sustainability of the business, and will it have any impact on environment?
IoT will have an impact in environment because all the devices communicate through radio frequencies. So it will have an impact on environment, which needs to be taken care when designing the application.
Okay. So what you're saying is there would be an impact, and will there will be a positive impact of these things. Okay. Now, why will IoT will be successful in the coming years? I know you have shown us a slide, but again, since this question has come, I would like you to answer this. What is making it more popular?
If internet is there, Internet of Things will be prevailing. So I wouldn't, if internet is there, Internet of Things will be prevailing. That's what my answer.
Okay. So there is something called M2M also, which is coming. What is this M2M? Machine.
M2M, machine to machine communication, where your devices in your home will be communicating with each other. Like light will be communicating with the fan. a fan will be communicating with your air conditioner. Like,
Okay, so far we were learning about the communication is 21st century skill, and now Venkatraman has revealed that M2M, that is machine to machine communication, will also take place. I'm sure soft skills, hard skills, and everything whichever is required, that will give an insight to the machines also. But what is the basic difference between IoT and M2M?
IoT is the devices will be putting the data in the internet, but here the devices will be communicating with each other through the internet.
Okay, perfect. Well, in IoT, what we all say Internet of Things, but what is thing in that? This is something why it is called Internet of Things, or when it was actually named out. So for me also, the question was, what is thing in this IoT?
Any physical object which can be connected with the internet is called a thing.
Okay, thank you. And you also explain the role that network will play in terms of the IoT. Will there be everything based on the network, or how will it take place?
Internet network is not much required in some applications. Like, you can process the data in your home itself. That there comes a topic called edge computing, where you will have some processor fit in your home, so that your data is not put it in the cloud.
Perfect. Now, before we get into more detail about the IoT, there is a basic question which has come into my mind also. Now, for example, if a student has taken PCM and he is having the language proficiency, what is the growth path, or what is the career path for a student? What all he has to do in the graduation? What has to be done in the post graduation, or is there anything apart from the graduation while the person is doing? Is there any certification course in IoT? If you can share some details about it.
Yeah, I think I have joined engineering 4 years earlier, because now there are some specific engineering streams. Some colleges are providing Internet of Things as a course, as an engineering course itself. But I would say you can either take a course in computer science related stream, or you can take a course in electronics related stream, so that you finish your bachelor's. In meanwhile, you can do some courses provided by some online platforms like Udacity or Coursera, etc. They teach IoT professionally, and after that, you need to do some masters to get into an IoT industry, or you need to if you are ready to take a job, if you need a job immediately after your graduation, you can enter some IT companies. There you can gain some good experience, and you can move into IoT development in the same company.
Okay. So IoT offers development and programming and coding and engineering thing. Or is there any other option that we can have?
I couldn't understand the question.
See, in the various kind of job roles, you said IoT developer, IoT programmer, IoT architect. What all other units are there? What all other places where a professional can enter into with IoT as a professional?
Those are the things. A person also can enter a startup as a IoT engineer, and you don't need to be an engineer specifically for getting into IoT. You can also do some BSc computer science, and do some specialization in IoT, such that you can enter into an IoT job profile.
So there is something called BSc in IT. There is something called BACA, that is Bachelor in Computer Applications. So do you think with both of these streams, people can enter into the IoT line?
Computer science, if you have a bachelor's, it is very much enough for things to enter into an IoT stream. But you need to do your specialization. You need to research a lot. You need to learn a lot. You need to do some good projects, such that your exposure is high in IoT.
Okay. And you also mentioned about the salary package, which is quite lucrative as compared to the normal thing. Now, you mentioned something on industrial IoT. Can you please explain explain this term to a great extent so that student can understand. Otherwise, they will get confused that what is IIoT and what is IoT.
IIoT is just a separate part in Internet of Things, where in IoT you don't need to worry about much risk, but in industrial IoT you need to worry about risk. You need to take immediate actions. If any delay happens, there might be a bigger impact. That is, you need to be very specific in developing the application in IIoT, like in industries and health industries and in Air Force. If you deploy some IoT sensors in an aircraft, it comes under industrial IoT, where you need to monitor each and every second appliance.
Okay. Now, with this, we come to a question wherein what would be the impact of IoT on the job market? Because when you said that there would be sensors, there would be certain things which would be there. The mechanics would be operating from the far off places. So there could be a possibility that there are job cuts. There are also possibility that the job market improvises. So what is the impact on the job market at the current level?
The impact on the job is, if you are not upskilling yourself related to these trending technologies, like IoT just doesn't come alone as an IoT engineer. The job arises like a cloud computing engineer, where the Internet of Things data is stored in the cloud. Also, you have a job called machine learning engineer, where the data from the IoT devices are being analyzed by the machine learning engineers. It is providing new job roles. If you learn and go to the new job roles, you will succeed.
Okay. Otherwise, there will be job cuts, right?
Yeah, there will be job cuts if you are not upskilling yourself regarding these trending technologies.
Okay, so that's a little scary also, and also giving an hope for the students who are pursuing the BSc IT and or the BCA, because somehow they are getting into the lines. But the existing people who are already into the software or the IT engineering, ERP engineering, they will have a threat with Internet of Things, especially
Yeah.
people working in the logistics, people working in the e-healthcare, people working in the warehousing. Yes, if you are an IT manager there, then it's the time that you have to upgrade yourself, else very soon you will be obsolete. Yes, this is a very blunt answer, but that's a fact. So you spoke about agriculture sector also, smart farming. And we also touched upon transportation and the logistics and the healthcare. So, typically I would like to have certain examples of a healthcare center where IoT is getting a positive effect. Then we'll move on to other two sectors.
Healthcare sector, the patient doesn't need to go to the doctor personally. He will have uh, some sensor, some measuring instruments in his home itself. The data just will be sent to the doctors. If he has a family doctor, his family doctor will be monitoring it. It is a small example.
Okay, so what you're saying is, in case if someone is they don't need to go to the doctor, the family doctor can evaluate sitting at the distance, and the things can be managed, right?
And also, another example is, nowadays surgery is also happening through this kind of Zoom calls, etc., where the doctor from another country, he doesn't need to come to this country to do the operation. He can instruct the person present here who is a bit specialist in that thing to perform the surgery, etc.
Okay, so virtual, as we are meeting right now virtually. Similarly, virtual surgeries are also taking place. But how much are they successful?
That I didn't take any facts or things.
Okay. Thank you so much to be very honest about it. Now, what are the different sectors where IoT can actually add a value to the current processes? You already spoke about the logistics, healthcare, and smart cities. And how about education? And is there any other area where the IoT can actually help?
Yeah, education is also happening through online now. People are connecting through the online video calls, and assignments also are posted through our mobile phones. Just we are scanning it through our mobile phones and putting it. So education is also very much impacted due to this IoT. And logistics also, the warehouse will be monitored then and there, such that if the stocks are going to deplete, you will be contacting the supplier to provide the stocks.
Okay. So, what you are saying is IoT is giving an effect on everything, and that is a best part of the sexual health that is happening. Okay. Now we move on to the last question, as the time is clicking and we have an hour session. What do you think, the Internet of Things can replace the human mind completely to take its own decision?
Not necessarily, because it won't be like, if you give the whole control to the machine, then it will be difficult for human race to prevail. So that the instruments are designed in such a way that it can be controlled by a human. If it is behaving improperly, you can just turn it off using some app using your mobile phones.
Okay. So, Venkat Raman, this was a beautiful session that we had right now, because the way I know you're a very young person and you have just done your engineering, and of course, you are doing that. One of the reason why Venkat Raman is a part of our expert chat is sometimes when a student is studying in a particular thing, they know the subject well. And young students like Venkatraman can actually correlate with you guys, students, because he's just 4 years older than you. You are in either in 11th and 12th class, and Venkatraman has just completed his engineering. So you can see the kind of passion that he's having towards the Internet of Things. And the way when we approached him that would you like to be a speaker, he was very clear that yes, this is the time zone that I have, and I can accommodate myself to it. And with a great demand of this career, as well as you guys have asked for the IM, which we are going to come out next week. And then we have writing as a profession, entrepreneur as a profession. Some of you are physically, physical fitness freak. So we are getting a gym person will be actually helping you out that what kind of careers they can have in the gymming industry or in the fitness thing. And we will also have an actor with us who is an entrepreneur too, that how one can start their career in modeling and acting. We will have an author who will actually tell you that how you can start a profession in the writing. And of course, we have multiple people based on your demand and based on your request. We are bringing the specialist who can actually tell you about the insights of those industries. In case if you have any specific requirement on any of the industry that you are looking for, please do share, and we will ensure that we are getting the people who would be, uh, you know, from that particular industry, and we will have a conversation with him or her. And with this, this is the time to say thank you to all of you, and thank you to Venkataman for sparing his valuable time and giving the insight about it. In case if you have any further question on IoT, we would love to ensure that Venkataman is answering those questions, or our expert panel team is going to answer that. With this, we take your leave for today. And thank you so much, Venkatraman, for being with us, sharing your insights about IoT, giving the complete insights to the students. I'm sure I love hearing it out from you, and I'm sure the viewers who have been watching us will also be very happy to share the feedback on you that how exactly you have performed. Any questions, Venkatraman, do you have for us?
No questions. Thanks for the opportunity to share my experiences to budding engineers.
Thank you so much. One last question. You said is it necessary that a person has to be engineer? BSc and IT can also be helpful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And this was Venkatraman Ravi, who is IIT, IEEE's volunteer, and he has done his instrumentation engineering and computer engineering, and he is working in a smart farming thing. And he is a budding entrepreneur also, because he is working something on the smart technologies. I'm sure he will reach to the heights. Thank you once again, Venkatraman, to be here with us. And with this, we take your leave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me stop this live.